Hello, everyone. I am Krooked, and I do stuff, and this is Unscripted, the series where I take a completely unscripted look at games and give it a 1 through 10 rating, and wow! Whoa. Ouch. I wanted to take a look at the Genesis version of Maximum Carnage to see, which one's better. Already, I can tell you it's the Super Nintendo game, because, oh my god. What did they do to the song? This is what I mean every time I mention the Sega sound chip. Wow, it sounds so bad. It's not as detailed in the comic scenes either. Like, I would have problems reading that text. It looks awful. I mean, what did they do to Carnage? Oh no, guys. This looks like separation anxiety on the Super Nintendo, but oh no. So I am using a 6-button controller. Oh no. This sounds so bad and it looks bad. Oh, this is what people on the Sega Genesis had to deal with this game? Oh, no. No. So let's address some things. Wow, his neck, dude. Take a look at Spidey's neck. It is... Dude. He works out his neck. Wow. So, I got the Genesis version because I really wanted to see what it would be like compared to the Super Nintendo version. I've never played this version before this. And everything is just very offensive to me so far. Now, there are some of you who probably grew up with this version who watch this. You might love this version. If you do yourself a favor and go play the Super Nintendo version. I'm sorry, it's rough, I know. Oh, this isn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something that was about the same quality and everything as the Super Nintendo version. But I'd be pretty hard-pressed to say that anything of this is the same as the Super Nintendo version. I was a little hard on it earlier. It does have better graphics than Separation Anxiety had. And honestly, with these graphics and the size they are and everything else, I don't see why Separation Anxiety on the Super Nintendo, at least, couldn't have just downscaled to like this level and let you have 2 players on screen. I don't think it would have been too crowded. I think it would have been perfectly fine. And I think it would have actually made it a better game if it at least looked like this and you just put whatever character you're fighting underneath the health bar. With their name and everything, because as we know, Separation Anxiety didn't feature their names. And I just think that would have been a better way to do it, is make the Super Nintendo version of Sega Genesis, well, basically the Sega Genesis game. I don't know what you would do to the Separation Anxiety on the Genesis. I'm kind of worried because I want to check that out too. But I don't think it's going to be a good time. I think it's probably going to be worse than the Super Nintendo one, which that's saying a lot, because the Super Nintendo game for Separation Anxiety is bad. This is also, I don't think the levels are as long as the Super Nintendo's are. I think this is like a lesser game in almost every single way. I'm gonna see if, some of the other things in this are as bad, or maybe even as good. And then we're gonna make our determination based on that. I know that I got to Venom before. I don't want to get to Venom on this one. It's gonna be, why did they ruin my boy? But I mean, I can go through the doppelganger and cheek fights and stuff, and we can see how that goes. Okay, this is the climbing section. This wasn't hard to get through in the original. I enjoy it a lot. I didn't when I was a kid. I hated it because I didn't understand it. As long as you move in that direction, you're fine. I also didn't have patience as a kid to play games properly. I would, like, just suck and try to do them as quickly as possible. Get away, doppelganger! No! Get away from me! Okay, that was rude. Also rude. Yeet. Okay. Now I'm on the roof. Oh, all the music is bad in this. None of it is good. It also takes longer to load than the Super Nintendo version, which thought that's interesting. I know that you can also pick the water tower up on the Super Nintendo version. I don't think you can in this. So that's a little interesting. Doppelganger doesn't sound as good. Yeah, this is like plain Maximum Carnage. So, okay. I have a good example for people today to understand what this would be like if you don't want to go through and play them both, other than watching them. So, PS5, Xbox Series X version comes out, and there's also a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version that has, like, lesser everything, and it's not quite as good. But it's still, you know, close enough to the same game where if you have to settle for it, it's okay. That's what this is. Maximum Carnage, in my opinion, is like a perfect beat-em-up game. The weakest moments of it are still absolutely fantastic, and it's a great game. This one is just lesser. And immensely lesser with that sound chip. I will never not trash the Genesis sound chip, and this is just more of that, really. So, for the Sega Genesis version of Maximum Carnage, I think this one would be divided. I think it's a good game still, but I don't think it's one that everyone's going to like as much. And if you don't like beat-em-ups, this isn't going to bring you into it, whereas normal Maximum Carnage on the Super Nintendo will. So, with all that being said, Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis, what am I going to give it? It gets a 7 out of 10. That's all that I can give it, because it's Spider-Man and Venom in Maximum Carnage. But is it Spider-Man and Venom in the best version of Maximum Carnage? Nah, this is like getting a comic book after someone else has read it a bunch and it has a few stains on some pages. It's torn in a corner. You can't read the text on one of the panels. That's what this one is like. Whereas the other one is getting that comic fresh at the comic shop 2 days early because the comic shop is cool and decided to break a street date to hook up one of their good customers. That's what the Super Nintendo one is like. So, if you like Spider-Man, Maximum Carnage, or this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button so that way you never miss out on an episode of Unscripted. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever there is a new episode of Unscripted. And if you really want to support the channel more, you can check out my Patreon description, or link is in the description down below. And with all that being said and done, I do want to thank you for watching Unscripted. And I will see you on the next one. Bye!